I prefer the coffee.
What up, though? It's your boy Coffee back with another one. And yes, this is Rocky Thunder throwing her spaces with Danny. And yes, Dr. Mark Lamont Hill had joined. So, yes, this is part two. And y'all just give me y'all comments, y'all like, subscribe, enjoy. Let's go. Part three coming right after this.
To you on VH1. It's like there's a specific thing that black people stop me for, but black men in like the barbershop were stopping me for this thing. And I was like, this is an audience that I want to be in conversation with and that I want to have dialogue with and that I want to, learn from and teach at the same time.
Hmm.
So I was like, yo, this might work. And then I hit Joe back like, yo, like I think this could work, and then we just started talking and ideating and trying to figure out like what it would look like. And from there it went, Ian wasn't really involved in it until Joe and I kind of talked it through, and then with Ian, it became just all right. Ian's going to talk to my agent. That was more like the business part of it. But I don't. The business part was less interesting to me um, than the creative part of it. Like, what is this going to look like? And and then I asked him straight up. What do you want from me? What do you expect from me? How do you want this to look? Because I wanted to make sure that it made sense for both of us, and it did. He wanted me to be me, and I wanted everybody. I wanted to be added value. I don't want to take away from anybody else, and that's what I've been trying to do.
So, last question for me for this line of question. So, as you're there, you kind of start to get an increased workload. How does the conversation happen to where now you're just not on free episodes, you're on Patreon episodes?
It was there was always, from the beginning, Joe was like, what cadence do you want to work at? Um, I have a very busy schedule and it's booked out over, sometimes years in advance, and so it was just impossible at the beginning to be able to do all the episodes. For example, just Black History Month alone. I could easily have 10 or 15 events around the country, and so I didn't want to start a job taking days off. Because I wanted the audience to be able to trust my pace, and I wanted to have a consistent kind of rhythm in relationship to everybody. So it was kind of built into just life for me to ramp up.
Does it feel like you can't enter spaces and just be a part of the community? Does it always feel like an interview to you? And how do you feel about it?
Um, it depends on where I go. I mean, I came here just to listen, but I didn't mind talking. I like talking to y'all, so you know what I mean. It's fun, but I wouldn't do this every like. If I came in tomorrow, I wouldn't do this. You know what I mean? I would just want to
Right.
listen to y'all. You know what I mean? Unless I just had something silly or important to say. But I don't mind coming through every once in a while and talking.
How do you deal with the any negative commentary or haters? I don't see much, but if you do get it, how do you deal with it?
There's a lot less than it was 3 months ago or 4 months ago. I think a lot of it 3 or 4 months ago was more about um, people's fears than anything based. Like Mark's gonna fuck up the show. Mark's gonna only talk about politics. Mark's gonna be boring.
Yeah, Daniel
Um,
tends to think that you talk about the diaspora with every breath.
uh,
Yeah, always my joke. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good joke. You know what I mean? And look, there's spaces where I do that. Just I respect genres. When I was doing Black News Channel, I did that. When I was doing VH1, I did that. Al Jazeera, I do something different. Like I respect the genre, and I'm not good at all of them equally, but I do my best to respect the house I'm in.
Right. So then how do you deal with the negative commentary? Do you deal with it or you just ignore it?
It's just so little now. Honestly, I'm sorry I didn't answer your question. I apologize. Yeah, I was saying initially there was a lot of that. There's so little of it now that it's easy to not like. I don't go looking for it. Like I don't go looking for negative commentary. I don't go looking for positive commentary. But I do follow JBTV, so I see what people say, and a lot of it is more. What I find is that people. I'll engage people if they're disagreeing with an argument I'm making, if they're misrepresenting an argument, and it's in fun because it's like community. But I don't go like chase down the trolls and nothing like that. I think we gotta
Not
rise above that.
So Rocky does.
yeah, I'm on a journey. I'm trying to better myself with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Sometimes the troll, sometimes people gotta get checked. It's just for me, I find that it eats up my time, and I don't walk away feeling better because I give you an example. This is one of the few times on Sunday I was debating. So some dude, the ADOS people and the FBA people, those they often like to call me a tether and say, Mark's Caribbean, so he doesn't represent um,
Right.
Black
Like
America.
America.
Wow,
Right.
wow.
And I'm not Caribbean though. That's the thing. If I was, like, that's his own conversation. But I happen not to be. And so like there's this whole debate that's been going on for like 8 years. And so I just got I was also bored, but I was like, you know what? And I was having a rough day. So I was like, you know what? I'm not.
Yo, and
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Let me spar with them real quick.
Yeah, so I'm like, well, I'm not, and they're like, well, prove it. So I showed my dad's obituary, then I showed my grandfather's. I was like, because my
Oh, that's when you posted the cemetery plot,
yeah, because
the
my great
hill joint.
grandparent, I was like, my great grandfather was a slave. Like, this ain't even like a mysterious, murky history. Like, I'm literally the great grandchildren of child of slaves, and they were like, that's impossible. You were born in 1978, and I was like, well, here's my grandfather's grave, here's his father's grave. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Mm-hmm.
this ain't hard. Here's the white man who owned him. Here's the runaway slave notice. Like, dickhead. But then you do all that, and then they just stop answering, right? So it's
See,
like you
and
don't.
that's the issue that Danny has with you, and that's why this room is titled "What's the Issue?" The issue with Danny has with you is that you're always able to clear the noise, and you're like so perfect at what it is that you do, and he's just waiting for the other shoe to drop. So, is there anything that you want to expose to us before it happens?
No, I just think
Um,
I don't want Rocky to talk about my issues, but nah,
I don't believe that anyway.
I just think the thing is like the willfully obtuse thing. Like, yeah, you could use all the big words and all the logic, but I still think you're wrong about that. And I'm just gonna go to the grave with, and it's fine if we don't
But
agree.
but let's say I
Yeah.
am right. I'm okay
Yeah.
being wrong. I'm not one of those people that has to. I don't. We don't share the same opinion on that. But like I also don't feel I'm not that invested in being right.
No, it doesn't
That
feel
see,
that way.
that's
When I
What'd you
observe
say?
you, there does seem to be a gamesmanship where you want to get up and in like the debates. Like you love like your debate thing. Like you love doing
Yeah,
that.
I think you're right. I think you're right. I think in a debate, it's like I play basketball or baseball or football or volleyball or whatever. Like at the local gym. I'm talking about not me personally, anybody, right? And when you go home, like you do it for most of us do it for health, not for like how can I put it? In the moment, it's intense because you're competing, but you don't bring it home with you. You know what I'm saying? Like if I think I'm right and the job is to debate, then I'm going to debate. But I don't go home like dying on this hill. Or if somebody sends me information and says, "Hey, I think you're actually wrong. Here's some better information," then I'll say,
so you don't
"Okay."
stay up at night like, damn, I should have said this.
Rarely, you know what I mean, and I definitely don't stay up trying to prove a case if I've been disproven. Like I actually, I mean, again, I don't care. I mean, I could be wrong. Like I could be wrong. I can always be wrong. I just don't. I
Let me
just
ask
I
you, based on our interactions and my timeline, which I'm sure you observe, would you say that I'm auditioning for a spot on the JPP?
I can't imagine a job that you would want less than the JBP.
I appreciate you, and this is why you're top A1. You are a Mike numero uno to me.
I'm not an A Mike, but I am.
You
But I try to tell the
now
truth.
now you want to do that? Don't do that,
No, no,
Mike.
no. I'm not. I'm not an A Mike. And certainly not on the JBP.
Mark,
That's
you're not an A
that.
Mike on the JPP,
No, Joe is A Mike, and again, it's
so
not
there
like a.
isn't room for two A Mikes.
I think there can be, but I don't think that's this format, and I don't think it would be better with that format. I think I'm a B Mike. I'll be honest. I mean, I think I'm a B Mike.
Will you be?
Hmm.
Agreed. Agreed.
I know. I think this is a disappointing take. I think he's being respectful, and I appreciate that.
No, I swear on my mama, I really think I'm a B Mike, and I think that that's a good thing.
Okay.
Well, on the
Okay.
show on the G, you're
Well, we can
pretty
lighten the
much.
load by saying,
Yeah. That's what I mean, Danny. Like, I'm not saying like this isn't some fake humility. Like, I don't have A Mike in me. I mean, I've hosted shows. I've had, but
Is it
like,
like
not.
you're Charlemagne, like with Wendy, like that?
That's a good. That's a good comparison. Except it would be like if Charlemagne. The difference is Charlemagne was at a different, like, grew into A Mike, right? That was his first gig and grew into it. This is a little different for me only because like I'm in year 20 or year 19, and it's like, but it's not a step back. It's almost like it's. I mean, it's, at the risk of sounding arrogant, because I don't mean it this way, it would be like KD joining the Warriors. You get what I'm saying? Like the Warriors are
Mhm.
already winning without him. The Warriors already won a
Yeah.
championship without KD. They don't need him, but he makes them better.
do you feel like there's a platform that you're really able to let your hair down, and do you have that desire, or do you feel like you do?
I think my hair's pretty down on this show. I think this is it. This is the
I think
most you
so
could make
too.
that
I
show.
mean, I wanted to ask you that question. Like, I mean, before you got on the JBP, did you analyze that that's what they needed? I mean, like, giving more stories like you're doing now, like you're telling more of your life. Like before you came, we wanted more of that from like Ice or Ish. Like versus them like saying my man or not telling stories. Like you came in telling your life. Is that something that you analyze beforehand? Like, yo, I think they're gonna need this, and I'm gonna be myself and be raw and do this.
No, that wasn't the piece that I thought they needed. But I also want to add, like, I'm new, so it's easy to have stories week 1, week 2, week 10, 15. But like when you do this shit two,
Well,
three
the only
years,
person that came in with stories besides you is Imani. So nobody else came
Mel
with
had some stories
stories.
too. Mel had some stories too.
Yeah, but we kind of already knew some of the stories, and like some of them were like kind of like watered down. Like she doesn't really tell them how you tell them. Like you're from Philadelphia, she's from Canada. Like it's a total different ball game. She's still talking about wearing a keychain on her neck. You're talking about your brother getting shot and shit. It's like
I mean,
I mean, I
two
feel
different
that.
worlds. It's two different worlds. Even though she has experienced crazy shit, it's
she
still
doesn't,
two different
she's not
worlds.
a media person.
She's a
Oh,
media person, but
no,
I know what you
no,
mean. She's
no, no, no.
we have different we all have different like entry points into the media. Yeah, I mean it's just different, but all I'm saying is I think it's easy to think the new guy is doing better. Everybody likes the new boss until the new boss becomes the old boss. You know what I'm saying? Like I just would give everybody some, what's the word? I want to use that word. Some forbearance.
Well,
Grace.
no, we've been watching them for a couple of
Nope,
years.
nope.
It's like
Uh,
you came in and went crazy.
I mean, but you acknowledged the deficits. You said there was no clear B mic, which I found interesting.
But I don't remember. I also said I don't think that wasn't a criticism.
It can be a
I don't think.
criticism.
It can be a criticism though,
Yeah.
Mark.
It's,
I mean, I don't think all shows need a single beat. Again, I think that some shows function with multiple people filling in roles. It's like some basketball teams don't have a single point guard, right? They in sometimes it's better, but sometimes it's not, and so it just depends on the team. And I think with this team, it's like some Voltron shit. Like everybody has these talents, and everybody uses their talents in different ways. And even when Joe was out, like you saw like Flip step up and actually like kind of direct and host. You saw other people weigh in and do their parts, and it worked. Like it just works because everybody has so much. There's so much talent here, and sometimes like you almost don't
Yo.
get to see all of it and yeah, all the
Yo,
time because
Mark,
there's
can
so
you
much of
stop?
it.
Mark, can you stop? Can you stop? Can you
What
stop?
I
you
mean,
think?
I think
Yo,
Mark,
it's like a nigga got a gun to you in the hood and you just telling him all the right things. Like so you
now
can leave with the gun.
Mark has
Or I could really believe this.
Mark has
Oh
his
my God.
perspective, but at the end of the day, Joe was on. He was pretty vocal about how he felt like the cast had kind of hit a ceiling. He expressed that.
I didn't hear him say that, but I try. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I don't know that to speak to it.
So, do you partake in the Lord's Flower? I did hear you say that you had to watch a Mel Ford movie on the edible. Just curious.
It's funny. My short answer is I'd love to. I just never have time to. Like I bought a whole bunch of edibles in the last like month, and I just haven't had time to get to them because it's just the way my schedule works. It's
Mm.
like, do I have this window to get fucked up? It's more like that. But yeah,
Well,
when I
there
have
was a
time,
rumor in the room last week that you are addicted to. No, I'm not saying addicted, but they did say that you give the eyeball as if you're on Adderall, which
no, they're saying that because Joe said that one time, and it's not untrue. I tend to write
Mhm.
in large binges, and sometimes when I write, I take a small amount of
Mhm.
Adderall. It's prescribed, and I take it.
Yeah.
And
Just
Danny
to be
No,
got
because
you.
clear,
Danny's straight.
I will
I
be.
told
I have
y'all.
an entire jar of Adderall, which I don't take daily, which I could because it is prescribed.
yeah.
But every now and then, I did. I also, while I was writing, it was necessary at times.
But I tell you,
But
I've never taken it when I'm on air, not because I think it's wrong or anything, just because I don't want to be that locked in
no,
to.
no,
If you ever
that
take
would
Adderall,
be
like that's the last thing
traumatizing.
you'd want to do, right?
Yeah.
If I
Yeah,
ever
like
get on a roll, it's over for all of you. If I ever get on it, just letting I know that I don't even take out.
Yo, Danny got what he needed. Oh my God.
But I wanted to ask. Somebody asked me to ask this. I know Rocky probably don't like this question, but what people want to know, why aren't you going to be on at the Dr. Umar show? Everybody wants that Clash of the Titans.
Oh, facts. Facts.
oh, I mean, I might be. When we initially talked about it, um, Ian had thrown out a tentative date, and again, I was already pre-scheduled to not be there. When we talked about it it was supposed to happen initially in December, and I was going to be there. I was set to be there. I got dressed that day to go in. You know what I mean? And it got rescheduled. That had nothing to do with me. Then it
Mm.
got rescheduled again, and I think Joe was out, and so we didn't want to do it without Joe. And then when they gave me the last date, I just said it doesn't look like I'm going to be there because of scheduling. I didn't. The reason, if it sounded like ambiguous, it was because I didn't want to throw out the date
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't like to throw. It's not my job to tell people when things are happening. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, but yo, all jokes aside though, if you could be there for that date, whoa man, like that's like important, man.
He's gonna be
Danny,
there
why
for.
do you think I wouldn't like the answer because it's been discussed ad nauseum at this point, or no?
No, you. I said you seem to kind of take this approach that you don't like asking podcasters about like podcast stuff. So that's why I said you wouldn't like a about the podcast.
Who
Yeah,
me?
No, Rocky.
me.
Sorry.
Did Joe ever come back with a rebuttal as to why he doesn't agree with you with the
Dub in here is
Jay-Z
trying to
line?
get some clips for his show on YouTube.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you know when you said the line, what's better than 1 billion? Well, when Jay-Z said the line, what's better than 1 billionaire, and
Too.
you said two, and then you said that what would be better than that would be 500 livable wages. But Joe didn't really have an answer. He just disagreed with you, but he didn't have a
No, I thought
reason
he had
as
an
to
answer. I thought he
why
had.
he disagreed.
I thought he and I both had a kind of thoughtful answer, which
No,
was
I didn't hear it.
they were basically saying, because they responded to my next statement, which was basically in the context of what I'm saying makes sense if we're willing to imagine a world without capitalism. But they are kind of like many people said, but let's stay in this one. Let's stay in this world. And in the context of this world, um, somebody's going to have this amount of money, and we'd rather it be, say, Jay Z or Tyler Perry or Oprah than say Elon Musk. That was kind of the response, and I think that's a thoughtful response. I just happen to come out of a radical political tradition that believes that um, there are other possibilities, and that maybe we can one day build a world without capitalism.
Do you
Well, I
really believe that?
he didn't say what you
Absolutely.
just said. He
Wait, wait,
didn't
wait,
say
wait.
what
Hold
you
on,
just
Dub.
said at
One
all.
second.
Go
One.
back and rewatch it. You'll see. You'll see how it played out. I disagree.
I have the clip.
Okay, I'm saying watch it.
So, Mark, what gives you the audacity of hope that that can actually happen?
That we've changed bigger things. I mean, empires fall, right? The U.S. has only been an empire since 1945. Like empires fall, systems change. Capitalism isn't eternal. You know, white supremacy isn't eternal. These things have begin dates, and so they'll have end dates. You know, if you're a person of faith, you know, then we believe that the impossible has happened before. If we can do the impossible, we can certainly end capitalism.
Hmm.
That's a fact. I'm with
Capital.
that one.
I guess Furious was cracking up at that. I don't know why he thought that was absolutely hilarious, but um,
But it
yeah,
does.
Danny doesn't like to ask advice of people, but and neither do I. I'm not big on
I don't
asking
think
for
advice
advice.
is good.
However, say again.
I don't think advice is good at this point in my life. I don't. I think I just need to ask, so I don't ask for advice.
Yeah, so this question isn't advice. It's just I'd like to pick your brain. If you were just given again our engagements and what you've known of me in media space, if I were to be re-entering the media space, what would you vision as a niche concept for me?
That's interesting. See, I'm not convinced you need a niche concept because people know. I think niche concepts are for people that people don't know. So people are either going to come for you or they're going to come for the content, and I feel like
Hmm.
people will come for you. So I don't necessarily think you need as niche a concept as like somebody who's like unknown. It's like I gotta have the inside scoop on this thing, or I gotta have this unique angle. I think you need a full 1 hour daily show on a beautiful set with guests. I think you do really well with interviews, and I think you bringing in not just you talking about other people, but you talking to other people. I think that combination
Right.
you would do dope without. I don't think it has to be that unique. I think you're enough.
Guys, do you
You
guys
speak so
question
much
why
life into a woman, man. You good.
This
I'm
is,
learning
yeah,
from you.
amazing. This is a master class right now.
Yeah, I'm learning from Mark
and then
so
you guys
much. Like
want to know why I love
I'm
him
happy that you
so?
came back to the barbershop world.
Like, do you feel like sometimes you have to, dumb down your points to kind of make things more adequate on the pod up there?
Nah, I think it's the opposite. Like I think um I said one day I was talking to Jesse Jackson, and he said to me, I was explaining something to him, and I was like, well, Reverend, it's an academic concept, and so it's very complicated. And he said, Lamont. He always called. I hate when people call me Lamont, but he said Lamont. Um, if you teaching me something and and you can't explain it so I can understand it, that's a failure of your education, not mine.
Mm.
And that always stuck with me. You
Damn,
know,
Negro.
Wait, but that's not always the case when people are learning because everybody doesn't learn the same. So if if I'm teaching you how to read and maybe I'm teaching you through writing and someone else is teaching you through sound, that doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. That just means it's not for that specific person.
right? But if I don't change the way I teach you, knowing that you can't learn it that way, then it means that I don't have enough pedagogical tools to get you where you need to be, right? So if I'm teaching you how to read and I'm like, phonemic awareness is how you do it, phonemic awareness, you're gonna get this hooked on phonics, you're gonna do this Dick, Jane, and Spot like we did in 1983, Scott Forsman, and then
How
somebody
many apples did little Johnny have?
right. At some point, if that shit ain't working, you got to go to plan B. But a lot of times we only have plan A. And so instead of saying, yo, I don't know plan B, we be like, why can't these niggas understand plan A? Niggas just can't understand plan A. And so all I'm saying is that, you know, for me, I don't feel like I'm dumbing down. I feel like it's an intellectual challenge for me. And it's often more difficult and intellectually rigorous to try to explain a complicated concept to people who didn't go to this university or didn't read this book. And
Right.
so for
It's kind of like copywriting, right? Everyone thinks I can write, I can use words, like, but no, copywriting, you have to simplify it like down to like a just do it.
right, and that's
Yeah,
harder.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it's like when a person like Mark comes around to
yeah, but
people.
by nature of degrees, didn't you have to adapt your learning style to understand some of the concepts you know now to in order to be able to teach it back to someone else?
I had to adapt my learning style, but I also part of what I had to learn also was how to reshape my teaching style. I'm not saying that readers don't have a responsibility too. Audiences have to reach. That's why, like, if you notice on the podcast, I'll be like, y'all should read this book. You know what I mean? Because it's like I can't teach you everything in this soundbite. Y'all, somebody gonna have to pick up a book and read it. But I also don't begin from a place of like this is too complicated for you to. Negroes can't understand tariffs. It's like yeah, they can, right? If and a lot of times the people who say that it's too hard to explain to people means they don't understand it well enough themselves. That's
Hmm.
all I'm saying. And you know, Einstein said that. You know, a lot of people talk about this, right? That anything that you can't explain, you don't understand well enough.
That's where did you learn that from?
Learn what?
Learn how did you reference back a historical point before you make another point? Who taught you how to do that?
I don't know if anybody taught me. I mean, it's probably the apprenticeship of observation. Like, you know, I watch a lot of people how they teach and how they think and how they read. But I read a lot. I read 4 or 5 books a week. You know, I study people. I read biographies to figure out how people approach their intellectual work. And I just try to figure out how to be a good teacher. And you know, Malcolm X is my hero. And
Have you
so,
ever read the I'm sorry,
no, I,
ADHD.
I was just going to say, you know, and so a lot of it is like, how did Malcolm reach the people? And that for me is my template in a lot of ways.
Have you read the book Phil Jackson, 11 Rings?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. It was one
yeah.
of the books that helped me get through the Wallow book. If you were to suggest a book for myself, maybe Danny, but me.
Sex, money, murder. Oh, sorry.
Damn you. Hortels, hotels from the hood.
Uh, no, it's about the gang.
Murder Mommies, Cartel,
No,
one through seven.
Sex, Money, Murder was a great book. It was about the gang from the Bronx, man. Classic.
No, but what is a good book that you would refer to the
I mean, Six Money Murder
spaces?
is actually a
I
really, really
said
good
me
book, by
It
the
is a
specifically.
way.
really good book. It is a really good book though that Danny said that.
You didn't read it,
But
Dub.
what is it? Nah, I read Murder Mommies. I read The Cartel. I read
Why did you say it was a
Those are
good
very
book?
different books. You went
no
to street
because
fiction.
Get
You
him,
went to
Danny.
urban fiction. He like, I read True to the Game.
Well, let's start with you, Mark. This is my room, and I'm putting all my energy into it. What book would you suggest for me, and then what book would you suggest for the
the
public
group.
in general?
Books are so personal. It's like saying, you know, what clothes would you recommend for me? What do you like? Tell me a little bit about yourself. What do you like to read?
Well, I went in the hole with self-help books, obviously, but I love Women Who Run with Wolves. It's one of my favorite books. The Tethered Soul is another favorite. I really did like the Phil Jackson book.
Okay.
Mhm,
Have you read the Four Agreements?
of course.
Okay. You know, as I say, I was establish a baseline. You know what I mean? Because anybody who
Yeah,
hasn't read
I
it,
read the Four Agreements when I found out how 48 how evil the 48 laws of power is. I said let me
right?
balance this out with Four Agreements. So I think that's a perfect book to pair with the 48 laws of power.
Have you read The Alchemist?
Of course.
Okay. Okay. Look. All right. So you're so that, see, I own a bookstore. So like this, when people come in, the first thing I do is sort of establish like sort of where they are, and then try to, so I can figure out what they're
You
into and
you know
kind of what
what's
they're.
crazy? God, I hate to say this. I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that will say this, but I wasn't as impressed with The Alchemist as the world seems to be. I felt like it was so simplistic, but there
Oh
might be.
man.
I
I'm not.
know.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Like, but I think it's also where some of it is when in your journey that you read. I mean, that's how I feel about to Pimp a Butterfly a little bit too. It's like there's sometimes
Oh my God. Oh my God. I've been okay. Go. Keep going. Keep going.
sometimes it's like when you encounter something on your journey, it can either be life changing and beautiful and amazing and deep, or it could be something that you would respect and admire, but just isn't. It doesn't do the same thing for you that it does to somebody else who's on a different stage. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so glad you said that because literally it's in my drafts because I was gonna tweet it and then I retracted. I was just saying how I just now am getting into to pimp a butterfly because I guess at the time when it came out I just couldn't deal with the heavy LA Cali
Yeah.
sound. It was just not right. And I'm talking about recently as of the last month. I've
Mm.
allowed myself to ingest it and I've had tears flowing. It's
And it's a different
an
vibe, right? That's what I'm saying.
amazing
It just,
work of
yeah,
art.
it's when you encounter it. Damn for me now means a lot more
Right.
um than than it did before. I would tell you to read Bell Hooks. By the way, I'll tell you to read Bell Hooks is all about love or salvation. Salvation, actually, read Salvation.
Salvation.
Salvation. That's a really good place for where you are.
You should read Three Ring Circus
I need saving.
if you like the Phil Jackson book. Read Three Ring Circus. That was pretty good.
Okay, the Salvation and Three Wing Circus. I got you. Appreciate you guys.
I put
Uh,
I put in Chat GBT some book things for you. The Coldest Winter by Soldier Sister Soldier. The-
uh,
yeah,
thanks, Danny.
The Untethered Soul by
I think I have that book tatted on my ass somewhere.
The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. Okay, Mark. I always feel like it's grand opening, grand closing with you. I'm sorry that this is the
This is dope. This is so much fun. I like that ass. Like this is
You like
You
this is
this
said
more
good.
than the
you said
JBT?
almost. You said almost fun.
No, I said always fun.
Nice
Oh,
always.
oh, my bad.
You like this?
Y'all looking for you
He's
looking for
not even
I
something.
gonna
thought
say
you
nothing
said
bad
nah. I thought
towards
you said
us. He's not even
almost.
gonna say anything bad towards us, man.
Why would
He's
I say
so
something bad
good.
towards y'all?
No, no,
I
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Like you're
Dub.
so
Dub is calling you
conditioned.
Mark GPT.
Yeah,
Yo, that's
it's
funny.
like,
I give you
yeah,
that. That's
yo,
funny. That's a solid
bro,
joke.
you
Spark
too
Lamont.
good. Like, and you from the hood too. You dangerous, man. Like
Right.
we said this the other day. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be transparent with you, right? We just chopping it up. But I said this. I said, yo, you can't trust him. You gotta watch out for him, son. He
Why?
dangerous. Cause listen, let me tell you, like you in a jokingly way. I'm not really like that serious with. I don't think I could trust you. Like I don't really know you like that to say that, right? But
Right.
just how your persona is and how you come off, it's like you're just so well spoken. You know what to say at the right times. Like it's just like weird. It's like the perfect hood guy in a sense, but it's like it's just weird, you
I,
know.
I
It's like
got
how do you trust that guy? That guy could cut your throat. Like he's just so good. Like it's just like
Damn.
yo, it's too
No,
good to
I
be
think
true.
Mark is dangerous because he's brilliant. I think everyone should stay dangerous.
Yeah, type shit. I
You like
mean, it's
Russell?
perfect.
You give like the Russell Wilson answer like every time. Like it's kind of
Yeah,
you
yeah,
don't you
facts.
you don't ask the I mean you don't ask the questions that might get a different answer out of me, and it's not a critique of the
Ah.
questions. It's just
that's
like
a good.
Oh, so we not good enough. So we not
no,
good enough is what you're
you
trying
all
to
are
say.
asking like if you it's like if you when you do a press junket, right, and you're interviewing like celebrities and you say like, so tell me about your new movie, like they're not gonna be like it was trash, the director was an asshole, I got sexually harassed in my trip, like
See, that's my problem. That would be an answer I would give.
then
Yeah, man.
you ain't gonna be
I mean,
like if
Wait,
you
hold
say
on, hold
Mark,
on,
like
hold
who
on, hold
don't
on.
you fuck with?
Educate us, educate us.
I
I'm
don't
listening
know.
to this
No,
right
no,
now.
I'm just saying. I'm sure
You
you all
guys
have
want
it.
an education or a crash shot?
I
I feel like
mean,
you.
Dub want the
Eh,
education.
Hold on, time out.
I don't
Stop,
really
man. You
want
never
the.
know.
I don't really want the education. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not trying to give it. I'm just saying, like,
Uh,
if you, all I'm saying is any question you ask me, I'm giving you an honest answer. And eventually, like, if there's a question or something comes up that I could give you a different kind of answer
Right.
to a different kind
We're
of
all
thing.
asking pretty respectable
What?
questions, so it's kind of hard
What?
to.
I
You?
don't know. I still think Mark is good. I don't think he's ever gonna really answer.
Yeah. Like
I don't believe that.
They kind of feel like you're a
Um,
masked man of
you
sorts,
Yeah.
don't
Mark.
think you kind of pander into a base when you say like the world is ours and you kind of open up the gateways of hope understanding that maybe
You think that's
sometimes
pandering?
to a degree, because like it's not speaking logic into facts. Like sometimes we have to like, wake people up on their, journey to the 1%, and you have that information. You understand what the 1% is because you might be in it or somewhere near it. So when you say things that are kind of hypocritical to that, it's just very interesting.
What's the hypocritical part? Here, now I'll crash out for you. What's the hypocritical part?
No, it's just the
Nigga. No, I'm saying.
that's
Uh,
it. That's it.
Yes, let's go.
Or it's
nah,
like
it's not. First
even
of all,
my bad. I
Like
was like even
like with
when go ahead,
go
my
ahead,
bad.
Danny.
That
It's
Furious,
like
what is the critical part? I'm waiting on Furious.
Nah, just the point around how even going back to the Jay-Z thing, like, what's better than 1 billionaire too? Like, even if say 50,000 more people get increased money financially, are they really going to be able to handle that the way when you structure out, say, and this is not what I like to see because this is very corporate, but when you do structure out, say, a company like a Starbucks, hypothetically, or even if you go to a black business or whatever the case may be, like, what is better in that? How do you know which is better?
so I mean, I don't because like there's three answers I'll give you, but the short answer is I hear the question you're asking and I respect it, but and we may not arrive at the same conclusion, but that doesn't make it hypocritical because I see it differently than you. The hypocritical critique and the pandering critique is only applicable if I'm saying something that's counter to what I really think or something counter than how I actually move in the world. And I'm saying it's not. I might just really believe this shit. And I think that's why I get frustrated sometimes with the pandering comments because it becomes a way of actually dismissing what I'm saying. Like maybe I actually believe the shit I'm saying. When you say somebody's pandering, you're suggesting that they don't believe it, that they're
And you
saying
take
it.
it offensive. You take that offensive, right?
It's a pandering isn't is a negative assessment of my character. You're saying I'm being dishonest.
Mm.
How could you take that as anything but negative?
Yeah, Dub.
I heard him say that
Oh,
on the pod. I just wanted to
duh.
understand it.
Yeah, I mean it's not a. I mean I said it on that's what I said on the pod too. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
if you say basically say you lying to people to get over it, like yeah, I can see how somebody could take that negatively.
But this is
What would
Um,
be something you would crash out about online?
say that again.
uh
What would be something that you would crash out about online?
Um,
Hand us
somebody
your Achilles heel.
it's not. This is what I tell you. Somebody would have to. I've had moments where people have just said some wild shit, like, and my instincts kicked in before my reason, and I'm sure that could happen again. The older I get, the more I am uninterested in that, and the more disconnected I am from that. So, like, it would take a lot to set me off, and I would probably catch myself before it got crazy. And
You
that's the
think
good thing about it.
success helped you level that off, not just age, growth?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Like sometimes you be like,
mhm.
man, I got too much to
No,
lose, or like life is good. What the fuck I'm tripping about some dude in his mom's
it
basement telling me my grandmama wasn't a slave. Like what the fuck? Like
Right.
why
oh
am I?
Facts,
shit.
facts, facts.
No, it would be an
I,
incel listening to Michael Jackson.
I gotta say though, like I wanted to echo something like I gotta keep it real. Um like even just telling Rocky she's enough, I felt like that was like not tangible. You know what I'm saying? And also,
Well,
um
that's not fair. That's not what
no,
I said.
wait, let me finish my point. And it's just like it just feels like when LeBron said he was back to Cleveland and he was like, you know, Cleveland, everything is earned. And it's like, well, what place isn't everything earned? Like I just feel like you kind of throw out these like
You're
low
saying you're
hanging
filling
fruit.
this up with empty calories?
Yeah, like
But, so
wait, let me
so.
just say one last point, my brother.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Um
I apologize.
He
yeah,
said, "My brother."
my brother. Um and that's how you get it just feels like intellectual hanging like low hanging fruit that everyone is gonna eat up. And I think that's what Yanni was kind of speaking to, and he just couldn't kind of
Wait a
think of
minute.
it.
Are you saying he just fed me
Yeah,
intellectual
like and
hanging fruit by saying I'm enough?
and you and you
Now I'm
and you
offended.
kind of ate that
That's
up.
funny.
You kind of ate that up.
I'm offended.
Whereas like
It's
it's like what girl or what man wouldn't like accept, oh, somebody's here enough, like it, but what was the concrete, and then
Well,
people ate
so
that
so
up.
can I respond to that?
Yeah,
So
sure,
so
go ahead,
so
my
here's
brother.
where here's where I think King Grand Rising could
Who's that? Coffee?